He should. Dish.
I'm gonna break in for vacation.
On vacation.
All right, you ready? Oh, yeah, it's 8:30. No, he's in school, and these guys don't get class too, they both stay through that form. You ready? At this time, we'll call this regular meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court to order this Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022. It's 2-2-2-2-2. That's pretty good.
It's been a long time before we see it again.
I think so. If we do, your Haley's comment might be, we won't meet that day again. All right, this meeting's been posted according to Texas Government Code 551, Veterans Texas Open Meetings Act, and former commissioners is present established. Commissioner Crumpton is not here. He said it down to require training, and the rest of you gentlemen have to get out of here pretty quick for that this morning, so we'll keep this as fast as we can. So first order of business, let's work and vote the blessing of the Almighty. Who says for our
Father God, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here today. Thank you for this court. Thank you for all the blessings that you bestow on us that we take for granted so much. And please bless us with wisdom and knowledge to be able to carry on work at the county here. Please bless this court. We give you all the glory and everything that we do. In Jesus' name.
Amen. If you follow me, pledge the Texas, American Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Well, thank you all for being with us this morning. Mr. Roy, what's happening in precinct 4 this morning?
Well, trying to haul a little gravel and blade it in, but the weather is sort of unpredictable for the day and the rest of the week, so anyway.
Commissioner Hawkins, what you got going?
Same thing, we're just hauling rock and trying to patch up some mud holes where that last ice storm kind of made them prevalent, so anyway, just trying to get that done, patch up some of it.
Oh, same thing, we're just trying to spot some bad spots on the road and get them covered up, packed in before the next nasty spell and,
Coming up.
yeah.
Mr. Henry, what's going on with the management?
Problem. We still have, we get one finished, we'll start two more.
Seems like that's what they
Looking
do.
at the weather this week, we got a good chance. Something on Wednesday and Thursday, they kind of backed off Wednesday, and today they put it back in the forecast, so who knows? It's Texas, it's going, we're probably gonna get cold, then I guarantee it's gonna get hot.
Well, now that we're on that subject, I've got to take care of something, make a decision. I need to get Mr. Hall, make sure I can do it. Due to the fact that bids in Covington Street are due on Thursday, both the architect and the chemistry engineer have reached out to me and asked if we consider pushing that back. They don't want it to have adverse effect. So I don't have anything on the agenda allowing me to do that, but I want to talk to Mr. Hall, see if we can get away with that report. And if we can legally do that, gentlemen, I'm going to make that. Just heads up. Mr. Let's look at that.
So, kind of echo, Tom said with the project, we wrapped one up last week, Navigator, and we're still working through a couple of residual issues, a handful of folks, but the upgrade policy Navigator did happen, and, so I think District Clerk's happy, I hope she is, and, let's see, we've got the phones in, got new phones, so we're going to get in the auditor's office, CC next.
I'll have to the council today.
Doing pretty good right now.
Right now. Oh, yeah. Ron, anything in your office?
We're just playing around along, trying to stay hopeful.
There you go. See, the bailiff put us in your position, I'm thankful for that, fellas. I do appreciate you all setting it up, going okay so far? So far. All right, good to hear. From this front, construction, they've got the basic work on the Afterlife building pad done. They factored it to a 96 or 97% art something test. Told that's moving along nicely, which is good news. We've got joining us this morning over there. Okay, well, we'll talk to them. Anyway, that project continues to move forward. As you guys know, we had the trees off down at the sheriff's office, did those work, and now we're waiting on Mr. The gentleman that's got the bids to the swimmer. That's got the bid, yes, we'll get started with that. Weather's been cold up the last couple of days. If you walk out on that site, you're gonna be able to 5 pounds each foot the first 2 steps. That's what sticks. Over at Covington Street, as we said, we continue to move forward. Today is the week for the bids. I've got some hesitation about not moving the bid deadline. I've been contacted by several bidders so far that said, hey, we just don't have time to do this because the third bid dropped last week, finally from our architect. But the real consideration here is, look, I hope we don't have another day that we had 2 weeks ago, but I have to make some contingency plans for it. So I'm gonna look to see if I can't push that RFP back. If you have the legal ability to do it, I'm going to do it. If not, well, then I guess we're just gonna wait up here and see who shows up. But I'm afraid if we're gonna have that condition, I know these contractors wait to the last possible minute to put these things in for whatever reason. And that's not good. We don't need that problem. So we will work with that. This folks here, I got some movement last week for folks from basic IDIQ on the punch list in this building. They're moving forward. We should have some sheet rock guys back this week. Some things done, the little things for floors, pieces like that, that's been taken care of. But there's still quite a bit they need to do. They continue to move forward with work in the county courtroom. Hopefully that's going to start picking up steam here pretty quick. We've been waiting on the audio visual people to get some things done. I showed up last week, had some back meetings, so I hope that continues to move as well. Otherwise, it just stays busy around there. We have early vote. Let's talk about this. We had to close the early vote at Hillsborough, Covington Street last week at noon. So we had a water line break, lost water here about 10:30. It was out for a better part of an hour, and they made the call, can't get this building open, no water. So when we did that, the elections administrator called the Secretary of State and asked what the proper course of action was. They said, hey, if you don't have bathroom facilities for those people you're required to, you got to shut it down, put notice in the doors. I then called and informed both the party chairs who were upset with it. I understand a lot of people are upset about that. I get it, but I'm not going to force those people to work in unsanitary conditions. And quite frankly, I don't think I could if I wanted to. The Secretary of State says it. So we've had 3 voting locations. Huron's done good, Hubbard's done okay. We're not having much of a turnout overall. As of Friday, we had about 750 people, more or less. The check-in system told us who they are, how they vote, don't care. But those folks, it's just a low turnout, about 3% after this first week. So hopefully people will keep voting, start to take advantage of the early voting situation. We've been receiving phone calls regarding voting cards. Voting cards didn't drop from the printer until last week. The rationale for that is we did 11 months of work, 6 weeks in the AA's office. The elections administrator had redistricted everything in a little over 6 weeks, and he got the job done. I mean, it was killing, but he got it done. So that has to go back and forth into the system. The state has called teams. Once that's are we going to take Jericho's balls down there? Mark 7 times on the courthouse now. Anyway, for these at home that didn't hear the phone going off, it was so our goal is to make sure voting is easy, make it easier for the vote to vote. We never want to hamper anybody to vote. We don't like closing a whole location like that on our votes because of the impression it gives. Believe me, if that's a decision that's made by the consultant with law before we get it. That being said, I will be hard pressed to anytime. That means I might have to share it out there and wrap all people's voting site. We'll see. All right, well, that's what I've got. Just basics of what we're looking at. So we're going to move into open forum. Is there anybody here to talk about an issue that is not on our agenda today? This is your opportunity to do so. If you would please limit your comments to about 3 minutes of duration. Please show respect to the court. Okay, In which case, let's move into our consent agenda. We have action on minutes, we have action on invoices, and we have action on monthly report for revenue disbursement.
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion, questions, additions, deletions? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. The next thing we move to is our court order number one, discuss and approve employee wage status changes. We'll go through these kind of quickly here, touch base on what we got. We got the last one. Justin Latin, promotion to jail sergeant, congratulations, Mr. Latin. Walter Hooton, promotion to jail sergeant, congratulations, Mr. Hooton. Cassie Harris, promotion to jail sergeant, congratulations. Hey, after many years, Mr. Frank Urbanowski has gone on to greener pastures. He's going to retire, so we wish him the best. And thank him for many years of faithful service to the county. Emily Grace Ferguson, is it like a rule now that people have to be named Emily for you to hire them?
Yes, it's my third.
This is the third Emily. I got it. Do you have a tattoo somewhere? We're gonna know about? Okay, so she's going to be replacing another full-time employee there. Welcome our board. Jessica Carrillo and JP one is the report coordinator over there, and we wish her the best as well. Those are the employee wage changes for this day.
Make a motion approved. Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Well, that brings us to number two, discuss an action on posting notice of proposed road change to a portion of Giant Cedar Trail within Neal County, Texas. I think last time we were waiting on getting some coordinates, and my man has the coordinates. All right. You got
31.95648 north, 97.38605 west, one, and 31.95729 north, 97.38432 west on the other.
okay. So let's talk about, usually we wait 30 days to have a public hearing after you post it. Is that the standard or is it 15? I can't remember. 30 days. I think it's a good rule, sir. So let's go with 22nd. Look at that, March 22nd. That'll be our second regular meeting in March. We propose to take action on or have a public hearing and then take action on that. Okay, so Paul, what we'll do is on March 22nd, if the code votes on a second, we'll have a public hearing and we after a public hearing. We'll have an action item, discussion of actions.
That'll just be 20 days.
That'll actually be 29.
Yeah, I think we're good, but you want us to push it off further, I will. I mean,
That's
Down
it.
here is just, no.
yeah, I got you, short months. So,
I'm up to whatever.
yeah, we can do that, if everybody's got 12, the first meeting in April is 12, that's more than enough time.
Yeah.
By the way, y'all gotta tolerate Crumpton that meeting, I gotta go to DC for work. So.
Hello to the president for us.
I think I'm on vacation.
Okay.
In which case then, we have a motion to close a portion of Giant Cedar Trail Whitney from point 31.95648 west, 97.38605. I'm sorry, 31.95648 north, and 97.38605 west, to a location of 31.95729 north and 97.3842 west.
432.
432, there you go. All right, we'll get that to him.
All right, on the staple.
All right, we'll get that posted and we'll hold a meeting we'll hold a public hearing, proposed public hearing on the 12th day of April of this year, and we'll have an action item after that. Is that sufficient?
Are we closing the road?
It's a small portion of the road. It goes, it's really not impacting anybody other than the property owners and the property owner. It goes from one major road over into a subdivision. It's just a little trail that goes downhill where people have dumped RVs and tires and needles and tires and drugs, and nobody uses the road. just.
Somebody is.
Huh?
Somebody
Well,
is.
somebody, but it's just a dumping ground. And,
That's a motion, is there a second? Second, motion and second. All right, further discussion. If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 3 is discussion action on radio system proposal from Daily Wells. Proposal, because last time we approved the theory of this proposal, we've gone through this, through this thing. So the scope agreement, it's a thick deal. It's got the agreement and it's got addendum A, or sorry, exhibit A, B, C, D, and E. I'm just gonna go through it so it's clear, it's a lot of money we're talking about. So, communication system agreement between Daily and Wells Communications Inc., Texas Corporation, and Hill County. The exhibits of the loan are A, the statement of work, B, the hardware and software deliverables, C, the project implementation schedule, D, a certificate of insurance. This is a sample once we sign the contract with the actual certificate of insurance. And E, a system and microwave diagrams, which that's a little more technical. And we start definitions on page 1, everything from AC power, communication, county dispatch. Page 2 continues with definitions and it goes to the scope of agreement. And the basic scope of work is Daily Wells will provide the products and services necessary to assemble, stage, and integrate the hardware and software and deliver, install, optimize in accordance with the test, the L3 Harris upgrade, to train the trainer supervisors as specified in Exhibit A in accordance with the terms and provisions of this agreement. County performance responsibilities required in Exhibit A in accordance with the terms and agreements of this provisions of this agreement. So it talks about ongoing maintenance. It goes to change orders, how that's going to be dealt with. Should we change our mind, do something different? All that has to be in writing. And changes in hardware or software deliverables. We talk about that. If we change the event hardware or software is ordered by Daily Wells and the county says, hey, wishes to cancel all our portions, we're subject to a 50% stock on that. Insurance, Daily Wells will provide us with $1 million statutory work compensation for liability policy as required. They have $1 million. Commercial general liability insurance with minimum occurrence limit of $1 million and aggregate limits of $2 million. The commercial automobile insurance will be $1 million. They will be driving back and forth, so that covers our insurance requirements. Moving on to page 4, we're talking about the price and payment terms, $1,021,509.72. And then it talks about under B, the payment schedule. Infrastructure 30% due on contract signing. So it should be $306,452.91. Staging complete, that is $612,095. Installation complete and system approval accepted is the final 10%. That's $102,000. The terminals will be purchased to the HGAC contract and will be billed to the county upon shipment. Talks about late payments, freight charges, implementation schedule, which you can see in Exhibit A, and continued maintenance charges. Indemnification, Daily Well does here, shall and does hereby agree to indemnify the Fulton County and their officials, employees, agents, and representatives, each an indemnified person harmless from against any third party's loss, liability, obligation, damage, penalty, judgment, claim, and expense, including without limitation, interest, penalties, and attorney's fees for bodily injury, including death or damage from tangible property of third parties, which any identified person may be liable, which directly results from willful misconduct, negligent acts, or omissions of Daily Wells, agents, contractors, employees, or other persons for whom Daily Wells is legally liable. County agrees to notify Daily Wells, and Daily Wells agrees to notify county Suspector of any third-party claim or demand or cause of action on which county may request identification of Daily Wells. County will provide Daily Wells with necessary information and assistance to defend and settle such claim and demand or cause of action. The liability clause for the company, they worked with counties before, obviously, so it meets muster for that. It just talks about disputes, mediation, judicial proceedings.
That needs to change.
Yeah, it's Harris County, we won't go kind of everything to say that. And they said they will work.
You should be on there and answer that question. Hey, are you there?
Yes, sir. Excuse me, I'm here.
Hey, we have a question on the contract on page 5, disputes, judicial proceedings. Our attorneys are requesting that the competent jurisdiction not be Harris County, Texas, but rather Hill County, Texas.
Yes, sir. That was an omission. That was a copy and paste error. That is correct. We can put that to Hill County.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. All right.
Yes, sir.
Bear with us. We're gonna get through this thing.
The only thing I saw was the limitation liability.
That's the next page. Go ahead. Your concerns.
I'd like for them to be removed altogether.
Okay.
which one?
Page 6.
What,
It's it's limitation of liability, the entirety is what our attorney's telling us. What they're asking for is except for daily wells liability, third parties which will must conduct related to actor emissions. Basically, our attorney is saying, hey, this limits, their liability should they do something that burns up third party, causes some big issue down the road that we didn't perceive. This limits their liability. Well, what about the limitation of liability clauses? Can you remove those?
I can go back to our in-house legal and request that adjustment.
Okay, thank you.
I think, because I think it limits it to.
It really does. In no event, and I'll read this part, so clear what we're trying to get at here. In no event, whether it results in breach of contract, warranty, tort, including negligence, but excluding infringement, strict liability otherwise, shall daily wells or subcontractors required to be liable for any special consequential, incidental, indirect, or exemplary damages, including but not limited to loss of profits or revenues, loss of use of hardware or any other hardware, capital, cost of substitute good, facility services, or downtime. They would basically have to do something so negligent or court would find it would be difficult with that language.
Can't run for trouble.
No, I can't really look at that. So page 7 is general title and rest of loss. Talks about, taxes, assignability. Obviously, we can't sign this, we wouldn't. Waiver, severability, heading and sections, entire agreement governing law, and availability of funds. Notices come to my office, it comes to the county, it goes to David Wells, it goes to Richard Wells in San Antonio. We talk about neither party should use the other party's name or logo or any of that type of subcontractors. That caught my eye. I've never seen that Elm Street contract. But somebody thought to put that in there. Anyway, between us and them. So that's the proposed contract. And then the exhibits talk about our scope of work, deliverables for hardware, software implementation, personality templates. And then some of this language, quite frankly, is a little bit beyond my understanding of the scope of knowledge what's here. An ISS connection to neighboring system and acceptance and final testing. And then it gives you on page 10 a breakdown of how this, who does what, if you need it in a graph form. And that covers all the way through page 13, 14, 15. On to the next page. Exhibit B talks about the materials that we're going to have to purchase. They will buy them through HVAC, we will pay for them. And a significant number of materials in those pages, you will see that that's going to take you all the way back to page 23 of that. Exhibit C is a project schedule. It didn't print out, it looked a lot pretty on the computer. Because it has published in the grant. It talks about what the dates are, when we're looking at delivery, and what the timelines for completion of this are. Exhibit D again is a certificate of liability. This is simply a sample. We don't have to sign it. We don't sign the contract yet. And last but not least, Exhibit E is a system microwave drawing. If you understand these things, basically telling you how things are going to go from this point to the tower, from this point to the tower, and then the unit mark. So, thank you.
What's the county gonna be on board with this?
Boston County is not going to participate in this tower. We're using the tower in Lagoon Park because it is a architecture council government's asset, and we have access to do so. Just as they want to put it in town on county. That being said, they don't want to participate in the 800 megahertz system. This is not dedicated for investigation.
We accept the contract.
So,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept communication system agreement between Daily and Mills Communications Inc., Texas Corporation, in Hill County, Texas, contingent upon review of the limitation of liability language. Is that fair enough? Okay. Any further discussion on this issue? I'm gonna tell you, I think this is gonna take our communications to forward in this county. It's something we need to do for a long time. But we just not have money to it's coming from. And I think it's gonna greatly improve our public safety in this county. So, for that, if there's nothing further, I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. Here's a copy of this agreement until such time I get you finished out. Number 4, discussion approved variance request. Gentlemen had variance request before us last time. We had questions about it. I believe those questions were resolved. I think we're good now.
Yes, except it's not really a variance. It really is a replat. And I think it needs to be charged by the clerk's office in the minor plat. And I discussed that with him.
All right. So the question becomes then, how does that work in your
I'm
system?
not there, hold on. Another girls told me that you brought somebody in to pay for a variance, is this the same thing? So we've already paid for a variance, but now we need to change it? That's why I don't really like paying taking money until it's approved in court.
Well, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how we do this as a minor plat because we don't have a minor plat in front of us, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to make anybody go and get back a minor plat.
Well, it's titled minor plat.
This morning I brought in a copy of the
Not
revised
this. Okay.
preliminary plat that they had submitted.
Mike.
And then I submitted the paperwork for a replat that you had mentioned. That was-
No, all right, no, never mind, you've got this. I have not reviewed, I got this morning, forgive me, I've not reviewed. Let's see what you're talking about
There's
now.
the last 3 pages of requesting a replat. I just did the variance because I didn't know the process. I didn't know.
Understood.
My survey company kind of left me hanging.
Okay, this is. This is titled as preliminary plat, it's not a preliminary plat, I really don't think it falls in minor plat, the attorney currently does, that's fine, we have a disagreement on that. I really need to replat.
It is a replat.
Yeah, and it just needs to be labeled replat, because we have a platted subdivision, and anyway, that's fine, we can get that corrected. I don't have a problem with this, we've done this many times for other people, it's just getting the paperwork in the correct fashion and making sure we do it correctly. So, what I'm getting at is, this ain't gonna pass muster with our county surveyor. Because it doesn't have a title correct, it's not correctly labeled. So the question is, do you guys want to set this back for the next time to get this corrected? Do you want to go ahead and take action on today? But I've said enough of these meetings with Jesse at this point to know that if this is gonna be a replat, he's gonna want to say replat before he's gonna bless it. Well, that's the problem. I don't think so either. I don't want to keep jerking this guy around. I feel terrible because Mike's trying to get something done. But at the same time, I need to make sure we've got this right because we can't put this in our records if it's wrong.
I think I can get them to change that pretty easily. Just change it from preliminary to replat.
Yes, sir. And then what's gonna have to happen, his surveyor's gonna have to sign it because he didn't sign this. He's gonna have to sign off on it. I'm gonna need you to sign it when replat, because replat's a single plat, single submission process. So I'll need his signature and the date and his stamp as a surveyor. I'll have one. I'll need your signature and then, your surveyor, put the director of city engineer in there. I don't think that was gonna have that, okay? If you get that information, you can take action on this. Again, I have no problem with the concept whatsoever. Get what you're doing, we just gotta make sure the records are correct.
So
So,
label it as replat. Both of us need to sign it.
yes, sir.
And is it a final plat or what is it? It's just called replat?
It's just to be called replat. I guess the easiest way to think of it is this: if we have a piece of land that nothing ever happened on, we got a preliminary plat or minor plat, however. But this is White Bluff. They have a final plat years ago, and so what we're doing is we're modifying that final plat. So we're not taking any final plat. We're just replatting this particular lot since I just mentioned. So that's
All he's doing is moving the boundary line.
it's a pain in the rear. I'm sorry, it's so
That's okay.
difficult. But we'll get this worked
Is
out.
this something like Danny did with his one, the same?
Yeah, remember when he brought Mike to do
Those
here?
were variances, weren't they?
I don't think so. I have to go back and look, but we'll see. But anyway, it's long and short of it. I can't take action on this because it is. Stay in touch with us. Don't leave. We'll get this sorted out, get you taken care of. All right, so that means I got to move on to number 6. Number 6 is discussion action contract for Chemistry and Hill County Hey, yeah, Kevin Day. Perfect time. No, perfect timing was good. So let's take it off first with, Hill County AgriLife, it's owner's rep agriculture extension innovation proposal. You wanna go over it? Come on, you got it.
Questions, comments?
This is the same proposal that was presented several weeks back to you guys. I didn't give you another copy of it because we've already killed trees once. So anything changed since we talked about this last?
No, it's still moving forward. I've been working directly with ICE Construction so far to date, getting some of the design changes you and I and Philip discussed.
And let's kind of talk about the scope of that so they know what the problems have been that we've identified to this point. I don't know we're gonna go line by line to that whole 7-sheet Excel workbook you sent me, but what are we looking at there, kind of things we've noticed so far?
So the majority of the stuff that we caught ahead of time, the big items are mechanical equipment and comfort issues and the energy consumption of the actual building. So we made some slight changes up front. It increases your equipment cost a little bit up front, but over the life of the building, it's going to pay for itself tenfold with higher efficiency equipment, better temperature control, better environmental humidity control, and then space control with control systems. So we can actually have thermostats in each room and have better comfort for the occupants of the building. Some of the other bigger ones were the electrical design was pretty poor. They missed a lot of things. We've got those comments back, and I believe we've got those back from the engineer. So
We gotta go back and provide all the data too, I believe.
the data, there was zero data, zero IT in the entire building. So getting the IT drops and all that ran ahead of time, picking an actual MDF spot for all the data cables to come back to all centralized, getting ahead of that so that we're not trying to run it once there's drywall up and the building's built is going to save a lot of money back up.
Yeah, so we're gonna move forward at this point. So we've got the extension of staff services, that's the owner's rep fee, and that's $126,000. Second is an on-site superintendent for the duration of the project, that'd be $115,500. We can do both, we can do one, we can do neither, but I'm gonna tell you, already, I can only imagine how much money they have saved us in change orders, simply because the architects did not get a lot of this correct up front. And if you think this one's bad, you wait till you see what I have to show you.
The owner's rep piece is basically, we're going to be a direct line of subcontractors. It'll be a buffer between us and Judge Lewis because he's already got enough on his plate.
Yes.
We'll work through any change orders, any cost impacts ahead of time to make sure we mitigate any risks with them. And then if there's any cost impacts that come up, that's when we then bring the judge into the loop and make sure. Otherwise, everything from day-to-day communications, schedules, invoicing, everything will go through us, and then we would just say, yep, this is right, this is good, it's approved. Send it on to your guys' purchasing department for approval and solution. Superintendent side of things, that one is we'd have an on-site guy there day-to-day, managing the QA/QC, making sure we're installing what you guys actually paid for, managing any risks. If there's a problem that comes up, he's solving the problem before we even bring it to your guys' attention.
I think the days of us trying to run these big projects.
We're too big, we got too much going on.
That's it.
Well, that's above our head.
What's that?
I said, all this stuff is above our head.
I'm honest, it is. No, we don't do this in big places. Take taxpayer dollars.
Main thing going forward is different architect.
Yes. We talked about that with the judge. We actually have in-house architects, in-house design engineers. We'd love to get you guys full turnkey design build on your next building.
No guarantee it'll be correct though.
Yes.
All right, the first thing before.
We really don't need any more of this.
Never, never. If you guys burn this place, we can't fit tents in the front yard, that's what's gonna happen, all right? All right, so this is the first two contracts we're talking about this morning. So this is the owner's rep service proposal for the Hill County AgriLife Extension Building. This is a motion.
I'll make a motion.
All right, there's a motion, a second to procure and enter into a contract with McKinstry for owner rep services for the Hill County AgriLife project for extension of staff services and on-site superintendent for the duration of the project. And this is based on a 9-month schedule. That's until December. So, all right, anything further on that one? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Let's move on to Covington Street. You got a couple different proposals. I didn't bring them back and put them all out. Why don't you drop on what all we're looking at?
Covington, we haven't gotten you a proposal on it, have we?
We had one, so this is the only one you want to deal with right now?
Yeah, so we're waiting on, we're gonna do cold turkey on Covington, so once we get the bids back in,
Okay,
we were gonna put it all. Before I sent you something else, I'd be.
that's all right. So let's go back into Covington on this though. We got another problem there. So we're looking at inclement weather coming up possibly
Thursday.
Thursday night. And as I've reported in the course, they don't just have to hear it from me, but an email stream between myself, you, and Chris Town, the architect on this, believe that we should possibly push this back. I guess my only question is, not having enough time to research this, the legality of that. Can I say at this point as county judge, I have the authority, it's not on our agenda today to do so, we would have to post that last Friday. Can we move that back? Can I unilaterally move that back? Do I have the legal authority to say, hey, because of potential circumstances, I need to move this back a week? I don't know the answer to that. I'm hitting you on the spot. I don't know the answer to it. Do it heartbeat, we could, because I don't want to take a chance. I've already had 2 contractors contact me through voice and email and tell us, because that third addendum dropped last week, we don't have enough time, we can't get this. So,
You're just moving the opening bids back.
correct.
Did the 2 that contacted you, did you ask them if you gave them an extra couple weeks if they'd still want to bid, or?
I did not yet. I did not, because I didn't want to do something untoward and have a conversation with one party I did not have involved.
Yeah.
The one of them did indicate in writing that if they had more time, they would do it. They would be glad to bid it. But their frustration was that addendum number 3 that dropped last Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. That was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. That took those people through that building Thursday morning to get it for second walkthrough. So I can't say for certain that they didn't have a direct conversation, but yeah, if we pushed it back a couple of weeks, I think we'd have some.
Yeah, it's been rough with that. I mean, even the addendum that was just released still doesn't incorporate all the changes that need to be made.
At all. So, I think that it's the fairest thing to do at this point. It's probably in the county's best interest, and much time, trouble we put into this, because I really hate to start this process over. You know, we'll go another 60 to 70 days out. We'll get every day that's gonna do it.
Yeah, you'll get bid fatigue and you'll get lack of bidders at that point.
I don't know enough about the subject. That's the issue. That's the issue is,
Because, I mean, inclement weather shouldn't matter because they can submit their bids electronically.
no.
It's
That's not how
public.
we- That's not how we struck our solicitation for bid, yes, our SSP, our solicitation for bid is they have to have on that. Yeah. So, I know it's antiquated, but it follows the letter of the law.
I don't know if the law allows, you could release an addendum just to update to say, hey, they can be electronically submitted and do a live public, like Teams or Zoom bid opening.
Again, it comes down to modifying the solicitation for bid previously approved by the court. If I can push it back, I will. I don't want to hold you gentlemen all day with this conversation. There's no action to take by the court today on that. I would like to meet with you afterwards real quickly, and you too, Kevin, and see if we can't figure out. If there's a path to do it in a week or 2, I'm going to do 2 weeks, just to be frank with you. If there's not, then Thursday, we're going to hope for the best. I'll be up there, come back at our order. And
Yes,
accept bids. So, all right, so right now we've got our proposals for the agriculture.
That's, right now, that's it. So once we have the bids in for Covington, we'll package those online. We'll have a discussion with you on how we carry contingencies, things like that, and we'll come back with a full turnkey proposal where
Okay.
all the risk is on us and we write all the contracts and from start to finish, we manage the project.
We all interested in seeing that? Okay, good deal. Kevin, thank you very much. Hang tight. All right, good deal. All right, moving along then, number 6, discussion of approved budget amendments. We have budget amendments today. Or okay, so what we're looking at is, we're encumbering some money from previous year's budget. We've previously done that. Now we have budget amendments for us. Susan's been so kind as to do this for us. And we have non-departmental capital outlay. We're going to add an additional $1,106,490. That's broken down into that, the cleaning off the parking lot over here for which we pay for that. Animal pens, mulching, animal pens, pay Swinford, Infinity Sound, and CLC, and other construction projects, $1 million. And then the contingencies are going to put $150,000 in there. Normally pay 35, but we plan to have some contingencies this year. Computer software, general maintenance, we're going to add $5,618 for the Meraki system. Again, courthouse repairs, as the rest of the basic IDIQ, which we've not paid the rest of that contract yet. But we need to do what we need to do for the county clerk of law. Elections department, guys, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we've got 4 votes this year. Well, actually, this budget year, we have 3, and then the 4th one is November general election. But we're going to hold early vote in 3 locations 4 times this year. And we didn't budget for that accordingly. Since we are doing that, we need to budget and reflect that so that we can then go a little easier for everybody in the county. District attorney's office going forward is taking care of vehicle purchase for the investigator, Constable 3, or the big camera system. Constable precinct 4, we're just, instead of borrowing money, we plan on paying for that vehicle for a number of years. It makes more sense since we got their leftovers from last year's budget, go ahead and pay it off now, so that's what we suggested. I agree. The drone replacement, we got the insurance, we just have to show the appropriate lines. Drone replacement in our budget, autopsy and transport, we went up an additional 50,000. I hope and pray that's all it's going to take. I hope and pray, but I'm afraid I don't want nobody mad at me if I come back in for it later. I just not know that the line occurs. So anyway, video equipment, the ag extension is 1,100, something we need to do. Road and bridge, capital outlay, precinct 3, and that's the unbudgeted reserve barn capital project, and then capital lease in precinct 3. That's going to go in there as well. So that's what the budget amendments look like today. Are there any questions on the budget amendments? Motion, is there a second? Second. Is there discussion?
I was just wondering if Constable Precinct 4, if we'll have to move that into next year, to pay for his vehicle.
So as of 2 weeks ago.
Let's show anybody at home this vehicle still does not show that.
They still do not have a VIN number for my vehicle.
And if you think that Susan's got a check or something we don't have, y'all ain't met Susan yet.
So I did ask the question in the email to the vendor if it was gonna be a 2022 or 2023. And he said, no, sir.
2022 and a half.
So I don't know, it may be summertime.
I hope it's not. How'd you fix it up, Carl? All right. Yeah, let's get it painted.
Fix the bullet holes on it.
This is a little bit of a road, it's not bad.
It whistles.
Talk
It
about
whistles.
when you're driving.
Andy, it whistles.
It actually does.
There's some dark humor in here, won't tell you that. All right, in this case, I'll call the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Thank you, Jeremy. Number 7, discuss and approve an ETC master agreement, gentlemen, master agreement for ETC in front of you. And that is ETC Company's master services agreement, between Hill County, Texas, and eligibility tracking calculators LLC, ETC Light. Whereas healthcare reform software system designed to assist client with the Affordable Care Act responsibilities, and client desire to become software licensed client of ETC, so ETC can perform these services. It talks about our effective date, the term of this service is a service year, and we can terminate for 1 year, terminating 30 days notice. Rhonda, what do you want to tell us about?
ETC is partnered with ANCO, who's our broker for healthcare. ETC is a healthcare reform software system, and they are going to help us with, if we approve this, to file our 1095, which will do real soon. There isn't any cost to the county. This is part of ANCO's service. This agreement is mostly so that we can transfer information to them, which is we've already built for them, that will allow them to follow the IRS timely and to get these 1095s to our employees.
Well, there's no liability language in here whatsoever to make you happy. It's just that governing law, they're kind of, but who doesn't like that, right? So anyway, we recommend approval on this.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Make a motion.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve the master agreement for ETC, between ETC and Hill County, Texas for health solution software. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 8, discussion action on final plat for Gentry Edition. Gentry Edition plat has been submitted to us in its final form. It's got the signatures, it's got everything you want and more. So here's my recommendation to approve the final plat for the Gentry Edition. Motion and second. Can I have a question? Is there a special marker you have to use on this? Special pen? Okay, so maybe not these. Okay, so, gentlemen, before you leave today, we're gonna get a ballpoint pen, put it aside on the call's desk and sign it there, okay? This is my law, I know there's something special about it. But, all right, so there's a motion, is there a second? If that's Commissioner Montgomery, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention? Motion carries. The next one, discussion action, final plat on High Point at Balcony. Again, this is the final plat. It meets the requirements that the things that we've caused things to do to it. 2 pages of Mylar. It has necessary signatures on it, and it's time for us to make our final decision on it. And here's my recommendation that we approve the final plat for High Point at Balcony subdivision.
Yes.
Yes, this one is.
So has it been through city council?
No, it is not.
I think it's required to go through both ends.
Okay, so.
Yeah, that's been some of the confusion. Evidently, it's the first time that the city's had involvement with the county. They don't know for sure who's supposed to take the lead on it. So that plat hopefully meets y'all's and theirs as far as signatures are. Verbally, they said it looks good. Official signature, no, or to the city for immediate. No, but we don't know who's supposed to sign first. I mean,
It would be us.
I know this campground, when they came to me looking for some of the floodplain requirements out there.
Mhm.
I spoke with the guy that took Jerry Barker's place, I forget what it was.
And then,
He said that they deferred it to us. That it wasn't their ETJ, but they.
well, they did that once before. Remember that gentleman that bought that piece of property?
Yeah,
And,
they lost.
Robertson, they've done that back then too, referred to us as well. It absent an interlocal agreement, and I don't know that an interlocal agreement between the city of Hillsborough and Hill County exists.
It doesn't.
Yeah, okay, I didn't think it did. Then we have the ability to operate in this area. Man, we probably ought to reach out to the city and try to get something on paper, so it's clear for all parties.
I thought they would.
I'll follow up on that as well. So anyway,
I would think it would be ours to take the lead on because that's just their extra territory here. So this is our.
well, I guess I see it this way, and it's a different opinion, honestly. I don't know if I'm not different here. We're gonna be the party that's gonna record this record for the most part. So if it's unusual for us to go, hey, we approve something, and then it walk off for other signatures and come back, that's not normally how we do things. My curiosity question is, how does the city do things? Are they recording this as well? Do you know? I don't know. So it has met everything we need to do at this point, with the exception of we need extraterritorial jurisdiction, forgive me. And there's one more thing, we gotta get you and your wife to sign this one. So
I think the biggest question in situations like that is, because Hillsborough has code enforcement and they have building codes, do those apply to the structures? What have they told you?
Well, as far as buildings, nothing, I mean, when it comes to them not approving, I mean, they're not supplying water, they're not supplying sewage. So even though it falls within it, you know, they can't.
they can.
They can,
Yeah.
but it's been very muddy.
I would say,
You get something from them, and we're trying to,
yeah,
we say, well, let's just get the county approval, and then we'll. But we've had discussions with them. If you call them, it'll be very fresh on their mind.
what I'd like to do on this, Kyle, I'm not trying to slow it. I understand, but I would like to sit down with them and get this clear. Let me explain why it is. You're the first one coming up with a law. We've had this once before. But if we approve this thing, they turn around and don't approve it, your stuff is spending much money for nothing. If we step on their toes and we don't have the ability to step on their toes, it's my employee. So I don't want to get you in a situation where there's no recourse. So I would suggest that we pass this to our next meeting, but this week, sit down with the city and get something, hey, this is what's gonna happen, we're gonna go. I'd like to wrap you in an email chain with the city, whoever the necessary parties in the city, so I'll put the city manager this afternoon, find out who the necessary parties are, so we can get all that worked out. I would like to have something in writing to cover you and importantly, cover the county that says, yes, we have agreement on this type of about ponies to operate the way we're operating. Okay, cool. So what I would say is we're gonna take no action on this time, simply because it's got some questions that we need to resolve before we can. The other thing is I need to get your signature on this, Mr. North. So, all right. Anything, do we have anything further, guys? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we did.
Sorry.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna break the vacation mindset.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion second, we stand adjourned.
Guys, I'm gonna lay out this. I need y'all to sign it, put it on Paul's desk.